Hi guys, welcome to another amazing section, Designing with Pexels. My name is Sunday and I'm a proud Pexeler. So welcome once again. Today we have another amazing topic to discuss, and we're going to be talking about, can you guess? No, I guess you can't, of course. So we're going to be talking about design systems today. Yep, we're going to be talking about design systems. Design systems. I know a lot of us have had this word before, or some of us might have interacted with some design system. At some point, some people might get confused. At some point, some people might be lost about what the design system is. And yeah, what's the difference between a design system a style guide? What do I need to know about design system? How is it used? How is it made? Where are reference to different design systems that I could adopt and use for my project? So these are things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to have practical insight into how to go about it. I just hope you stay by and watch because you enjoy the session. So today we are talking about design system breakdown. So let's dive in. I move to my next slide, and let me put this here so you could see. Okay, we say, what is a design system? Design system is a complete set of standard reusable components and guidelines that help teams build consistent, scalable, and efficient user interface. Right? What does it consist of? Style guide, which is colors, typography, spacing. Hold on for a second. For those of you that always say, oh, what's the difference between design systems and style guide? You can see what a style guide is. So design system consists of style guide, but it is not a style guide. Do you understand? It is not a style guide, it's a design system. It is not a style guide. This phone has a SIM in it, right? And it's like, you can't call the phone a SIM, but the SIM is basically a component of the phone that makes it functional. So your style guide is not your design system, but the style guide is a component of a design system. I hope you got that clear. Right, let's dive in. So another component of design system is UI components, which is button, forms, navigation bar. All these UI components are part of a style guide. Meaning, if somebody tell you create a style guide for me, or you are hired to create a style guide for someone, these UI components are also part of what you are being paid to do. Right? All right. So let's dive in again. We have documentation, rules for how and when to use elements. So I remember in our last DDS section that we had with one of our speaker then, he was saying when you have a design system and it's not documented, it means it does not exist. So anything that is not documented, it literally doesn't exist because another person cannot interact with it. Only you, the person that made it, understand it. So there's not a sense of its existence. We are making design system to be scalable, to help team build consistency. So if you can't communicate to the other person or to your devs why this thing should be like this or why it should not, right? That means that your design system is not existing. So documentation is a key part of your design system. So what is the documentation? Is the rules for how and when to use elements. And this is where some people get confused. When you say documents, you know, some people feel you have to print like maybe it's not a land document anyway, but you have to print like maybe a long file with long text. No, documentation can be as like it can be very, very small, right? Okay, this should be here, this should be like it's just little instructions. I'm going to show you an example of these documentations and how, not how to make them, I won't be practicalizing how to make them, how they were used, right? So documentation, collaboration rules, this is how designers and developers work together. So these one are rules that can be stated in the team, right? But basically what we'll show you is just the style guide, UI components, and documentations. So you understand how little these details could be. So we say, think of it as the blueprint plus the toolbox for building products. So the blueprint, the toolbox. So where design systems become interesting is it goes beyond just UI UX designers, right? What do I mean? It's not just something you interact with on Figma. The design system it goes as far as interpreting what your developers are building, either on GitHub, either on VS Code, wherever they are building on. Your design system is being implemented in that particular environment. So it's not just something you use on Figma. It's something that can be implemented in other platforms, right? Or that will be implemented, of course, in other platforms. I hope you got it. Let's go. So, sorry, let me check what's going on. Just hold on for a second. All right, I think we are good. Let's continue. So we said, yeah, think of it like a blueprint plus toolbox for building products that look and feel the same across screens and teams. It saves time, avoids confusion, and ensures a great user experience every time. So effect of design systems, you can see in Google products, you can see the red, you can see the green, you can see the yellow, you can see the blue. There are a lot of colors there anyways, and even white. But then you can identify Google's products because there is consistency. So when there's no consistency, they cannot, like a design system cannot exist or is not existing in that particular scenario. So your design system is not maintain consistency. So it's just a proof that the designers on the team are actually following what has been documented in the design system. That's what keeps everybody in check. So let's move to the next slide. We say laying the foundation for a perfect design system. When you want to have a perfect design system, what does it take? What and what do I need to put on my design system to make it perfect, right? So we talk about the brand guideline, define your voice, tone, color, and logo usage. This is the brand guideline, not just graphic design that use the word brand. When you're trying to design on Figma, you're also building a product for a brand. So those guidelines that they even followed when they were doing the logo, when they were coming up with the mock-ups and all those stuff, maybe t-shirt or as small as the t-shirt of a particular company is, those guidelines that they follow in using their color, in using their text, you must also follow it on their products. So when somebody sees a company's t-shirts, for example, if you see the Pexels website and you see the Pexels t-shirts, something will actually make you think that this Pexels, yeah, for real. So these are guidelines that are also implemented in this, because when you hear brand guideline now, you think, oh, brand only talks about graphic design, but it's also UI UX too, right? So typography, choose font size, weight, and spacing that scale across design. Your line height, your font size, your font weight, all these things, there are principles in place to guide you, right? So when you are building a design system, typography is very important. You can't overemphasize it. Yeah. So next thing is the color palette. Establish a consistent set of primary, secondary, and neutral color, right? Yeah. You have to have you have to use your color palette in this stage. It's not possible. It's impossible to not to use your color palette. So you must use your color palette, right? You must use your color palette. So color palette must be set. You must assign rows to your color. The rows will be plain, on primary color, on primary container. Depending on how large you want to scale, there are a lot of rows you could apply to your colors. So next thing is spacing and grid system. So you have to set your spacing, your padding, your margin, your layout grid, and structures. These are things that must be in place, right? So your spacing and grid system must be in place, and that is what you're going to use for your design system, right? And it must be in 4 pixels, a range of 4 pixels, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and so on. So because the developers, they work in RAM, yeah, they work in RAM, so most times it is always easy to convert those numbers. They don't work in pixels, right? The developers don't work in pixels, so it's easy to convert those numbers when it's on a scale of 4, 4, 4, 4. And I'll show you in practically in design systems why they use 4 and where it is used. So icon and imagery, select icon styles, image rules that align with your brand. Next thing is accessibility basics. right? Ensure color construct, readable fonts, and focus states are in place from day one. So if your hover interaction needs to be in place, it's in the design system that you're going to make it work, not when you're on the product itself. You get it. So let's dive in. I think that's all for there. So let me confirm that I'm actually recording and you can see my screen. All right, that's nice. Next thing is I want to show you some design systems so you understand how they work and how, like, you just have some examples of the ones you can find for your project. So I believe you can see my screen, but this guy is called Ray9 UI. Ray9 UI. You can see it has 100 styles, 500 plus components. It has variants, auto layout, and there is a proper what? Documentation. So if you come here now, you see thumbnail, you see about, get started, resources. Do you understand? So you can come here, you can say, okay, I want to check out the spacing and grid. Now you see what I was talking about when I was telling you about using 4 pixels. You know, many people just use 26, 21. There's no order there. You can see this one now, they use 4 pixels here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and so on. So everything must just be in the range of 4, right? So you can see their grid is already set. You can see there's a documentation. You can see it. There's a documentation for how to use all these things. Guideline on how to manage and implement spacing. It's telling you, okay, between 2 sections, like it's whether be 24 pixels, between 2 little sections that are close to each other, let's say the 8 pixels, and between a heading text and a body text, or between a title text and a body text, let there be 4 pixels in between. So you see there's a guideline for implementation. So nobody that wants to design here now, we're going to use 26 pixels here. There's already a guide for it, right? And I think that was implemented in variables. For example, okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Okay, that's not what I want to do. I'm trying to see if this thing was done with variables. Okay. All right, so I think you can see the styles here. You can see shadow effect, you can see grid style, you can see color styles, you can see text styles. So if you come here, you can see some buttons, button group. This might just load. You can see button group, and most important, you can see documentation, how to use, when to use. Button groups can be used for toggle button, right? Navigation, you can see. So you can see its best practices, purposeful grouping, group buttons together when they share a logical relationship or perform similar action. You get it? So there's always a documentation. So if we come to this other guy, this guy is called Material 3 Design Kit. It is done by the Google team. I think you can see there's always a documentation for using this stuff. Yeah, there's a documentation for using it. I don't know why it is taking time to load, but you could use any of these. These are the 2 I strongly recommend that I even newbie friendly. Because I remember when I just started UI UX, I used some of these design systems to learn how to structure my components. And most times when you want to build components, it's better you come here and you just check the sizes of this component initially on main platforms like this. Come to a design system, check in case you're building your own, check. You can see that the button height is 40, some places is 48, right? Some places is 44, but the average thumb size I think is 44. So it's advisable to use between 44 and 48, right? That's my advice, and I think it's a general guideline because the human thumb is around 44 pixels average. So you can see these are buttons. These are buttons, these are buttons, right? This is documentation. You can also see the design guidelines for full documentation. Icon button help people take supplementary action with a single tap, right? So it's just explaining that to you. You can see the created card here. You have card, you could just come, and it explains how to use this card. You can see the card header, subheader, image, title, subtitle. So here now, you don't need to be asking, if I'm doing a card, is it 16 pixels? I'll be here. You can see how many pixels we have here, right? You can see we have 14 pixels, line height 0.25, letter spacing 0.25, line height 20, and font width. What the font width? Regular, right? So that's basically examples of design systems. So at this stage, I feel not only you, I too have learned a lot today, and it's so amazing having you guys around. I will just take this time again to just tell you a bit about Pexels. Pexel is a design school. We are remote, like you can study with us online. You can also come to our physical spaces in Yaba, in Lekki, in Ibadan, in Abuja, and a lot of places which you can make inquiry on our website. So you can go to www.pexels.com and you check out what we are doing. Follow us on IG, follow us on Twitter, and we hope to see you someday. Join our design school to also get insights and be professional and perfect with your design skills. So if you need a one-on-one section, you have trained facilitators that is going to put you through, that understands how to deal with students and how to make even people that feel that they don't necessarily understand stuff. You that say that you are your design is that this one is for you. So they will train you properly, so you will be professional. And we have an internship plan after bootcamp that you can go for, right? Which is one thing that makes Pexels different. After you go to other boot camps, you have to go and start looking for internship opportunity. But Pexels, once you are done with your boot camp like this, or with your lectures with the cohort you are working with, you go straight for internship. So you have it on your CV, not coming out of our this and start struggling to find internship. It doesn't work that way here. At Pexels, we are unique and we are intentional about seeing everyone grow. So my name is Sunday. I'm your instructor for this video, and I hope to see you some other time and also have an engaging section with you. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to like and follow Pexels, and also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you, guys.